Maybe you clicked this video because of the thunder, or that seafood restaurant you saw in Bon Appetit. Maybe your grandma called to tell you the Today Show was in Tulsa, and gee williger, she sure loves that Al Roker. Either way, if you've caught yourself wondering why Oklahoma keeps popping up in your feed, you're not crazy, you're just late. Here are 5 reasons Oklahoma has always been a breeding ground for opportunity. And no, it's not just oil. First off, the barrier to entry is lower than a millennial on the dance floor when a T-Pain song comes on. Boots with the fur, with the fur. Oklahoma has a cost of living up to 40% lower than the rest of the U.S. Energy prices 1/3 the national average, and homes will run you nearly 200,000 racks less than the national median. Plus, for those hungry to build, the state is where you'll find the lowest cost of doing business in the United States. Those kind of numbers make people swing, even if they're bad at baseball.
Call that pitching!
You have room to poke at an idea, see if it bites back, and still make it home for dinner in a house you can afford to own. With a backyard big enough for a trampoline, your kid's definitely not going to break his wrist on. When more people have more room to swing, more home runs are inevitable. God, another baseball reference. 2 for 2, baby. Number 2, Oklahoma's big enough to matter, but small enough for you to matter. The state's 2 largest metro areas combine for about 2.5 million people. The whole state, just over 4 million. And that's a sweet spot. Big enough for real industry, real money, real infrastructure, but small enough that networks aren't hidden behind 6 executive assistants and a ceremonial blood oath. In hypersaturated markets, brilliance is table stakes. Everyone's impressive and busy. Everyone's building some tech startup with a flashy minimalist logo and a thought leadership podcast. But in Oklahoma, competency and consistency are still king. And because the network is tighter, your reputation moves faster than a dad who just spotted an empty parking space at the state fair. Which is both inspiring and terrifying, depending on how you behave at a chamber lunch. Third, Oklahoma never left build mode. Ever since black gold spewed from the earth in the early 1900s, Oklahoma has operated like Jack and the Beanstalk after drinking creatine. Energy expanded into wind and solar. The world's 2 largest aircraft maintenance facilities set up shop. The state's film rebate brought in Academy Award-winning productions. You have drone companies testing in wide open airspace and research labs advancing treatments for Alzheimer's and diabetes, all while manufacturers are cutting, welding, and assembling the things that feed, fuel, and equip the world. This is not a legacy economy coasting on the influence of someone's grandpa who invented glue. It's actively expanding and adapting, and that means there are gaps. Orifices, if you will. Orifices for new players to wedge and wiggle their little selves in. Orifices. Fourth, Oklahoma is wired for invention. The type of people who heard no man's land and came anyway have shaped the spirit of this place ever since. It hasn't been cushioned by endless venture capital or generational tech wealth, and that scarcity made Oklahomans innately creative problem solvers. It gave the world the shopping cart, the parking meter, the electric guitar, heck, the first Girl Scout cookie sale. It turned an overlooked stretch of the Arkansas River into a $400 million nationally recognized park. It turned pennies into arenas, public transit, and an OKC skyline that didn't exist a generation ago. It turned a former World War II airbase in a town of 1,000 into a commercial spaceport and a landlocked state into one of the largest river port exporters in the country. That is not luck. That's muscle memory. Last, and maybe the most Oklahoma part, Oklahoma rewards people who show up. You don't need the right last name or the right school sticker on your laptop. You need work ethic and a willingness to come back tomorrow. Throughout the state's history, that bootstrap mentality has shown up again and again and again. From the land run to Black Wall Street to tribal nations building billion-dollar enterprises and Vietnamese entrepreneurs revitalizing entire city corridors. The instinct to build is just who Oklahomans are. Maybe that's why 99.4% of Oklahoma businesses are small businesses, and why it's home to one of the highest rates of new business creation in the country. People here don't wait for perfect conditions or a permission slip, they just start and figure it out. Throw a little spaghetti at the wall, and that's the real secret sauce you can't find bottled everywhere. So to sum it all up, opportunity doesn't feel rare in Oklahoma because it isn't treated like a rare thing. This is a place where starting isn't strange. Quitting your corporate job to open a bookstore barely raises an eyebrow. Reinventing yourself at 42? That's just another Tuesday, Jerry. Oklahoma loves hungry people. And if your belly is rumbling, this is a kitchen where you're allowed to cook. Speaking of opportunity, you have a rare opportunity to subscribe to this channel right now. It's free. I'ma buy you a drink. Ooh-wee. I'ma take you Oklahoma with me.